Hi, in this video I'm going to speak about a couple of random facts, a couple of random things that I have learned throughout my years in web development, and maybe you'll find them helpful, maybe not, I don't know. Let me start by point number one, and that is raise. If you've been working for a company, you're the main player, you do big things, everything you possibly can, and you're still not getting a raise, that means there is something else that's going on. You're a good person. You're likable. You contribute as much as you can. You've been there for a while, and you deserve raise. That's what you believe. But if it's still not happening, you speak to the management, and there is no progress. That means there is something else happening there, and this could generally be the company politics. Obviously, you need to go to your supervisor to the manager, and then manager go higher up, and then um, justify the raise. If you don't have the salary raise structure already built into the company, then he'll need to justify the raise in a very constructive way. Maybe your manager is not good and he can't justify that despite you doing everything. Maybe there is something else you don't know, but this could very well be due to company politics. Just keep that in mind. It does happen more often than people like to believe, and a lot of the times when you get a response from manager, it doesn't add up, right? They might just talk about something random that has nothing to do with your initial question. For example, why am I not getting a raise? So keep that in mind. Politics play a big role in getting a raise. um, and if you're still not getting a raise, maybe it's time to move on. Maybe the company is just not for you. Keep that in mind. um, Obviously there is ways to go around that. Like I said, maybe it's time to move on, right? If you're just taking all the burden on your shoulders, you're still not going nowhere in terms of finance, um, and you think it's politics into the play, then there's not much you can do. Like, really, there's not much you can do at all. So maybe it's time to move on. um, Point number two, this is funny. A lot of marketing people will sell you a lot of great ideas. The only problem is that the great ideas are not great. This is just to make you believe by learning something you're gonna achieve something. That's not how it really works in a competitive real marketplace. It's cutthroat competition. You have to know what's really important, not the side stuff, not the things that they would like to have. You have to know stuff that's important. Whole companies architecture a lot of times are going to be running on a couple of technologies, not 50 different things. So GitHub experts, people making video on Git version control, how it works, and the video is 10 hours long. What are you trying to achieve? And you as a consumer, what are you trying to learn? Because professional developers know very little Git. They can get their work around way around. They know how to push, pull, clone stuff, set the configs, merge stuff, resolve some conflicts, create meaningful branch names, right? Resolve some problems between two branches. They know that stuff, but that's it, right? There's not much to that than well, there's not much to get in real life for people who do actual development than those couple of things I just mentioned. So when you're as a consumer watching Git videos, I don't know what you're doing. Probably wasting your time. There's a couple of things you need to know on Git, and that's it. As long as you can do execute the commands, understand how it works in general, you're good. There's not much you need. And so yeah, GitHub experts and anyone who's trying to become a GitHub expert as a developer, you might be wasting your time a lot there. Now the next point ties to what I just said. Often you're going to hear advice that says or that goes like this: as a developer, as a programmer, you have to learn as much as you can. It's true, you should learn as much as you can. You should um, go to people who know more than you, senior developers, anyone. Watch good tutorials, get the good advice wherever you can. Read the ebooks, books, whatever you can find, any material you can find, you should read and absorb the knowledge. Again, another bunch of bollocks. If you are learning JavaScript, for example, and your aim is to get a front-end developer job, you should not be learning everything else that's tied to JavaScript. 10 other frameworks, right? Get really deep into object-oriented programming. Just get the basics down and build the projects. So the more you try to learn there, the more new things you try to learn, the more backwards you're gonna go. What you really need, and people are not gonna tell you because it's not sellable, what you really need is to be working on multiple projects for a long period of time. That's what's gonna give you real experience. So focus on that. Do not try to learn as much as you can. Try to learn minimal stuff, and then practice that. Build projects. If you're learning, new learning is 10% and 90% is actual development, writing the code, building stuff, you're on the right track. So learn the right things, not everything you can. We just spoke about JavaScript. Let's talk about tech stack. When you're applying for a job that are mainly posted by HR or people who have no idea about technology, a lot of times recruiters post job ads. Well, although they're getting better now, but many times you'll get job ads from HR and recruiters that'll talk about random technologies that company barely uses, right? So, for example, you might have someone in a company who manages the Amazon servers. They might mention experience with Amazon. What does that mean? That means if you can just access into the server, create a new server, create another server based on the previous server, set up backups, just the basic stuff. But that is not a requirement because they already have someone who manages the Amazon servers. So always keep that in mind. Tech stack that you see on job listings, it is not really what's happening in the company. There's going to be one or two, three technologies that the company's whole architecture is going to be based on, and you need to spot those technology when you're building, when you're applying for the job. So please make sure you find what the company is running on, what's their main technology. If they're running on Laravel, for example, that's their main tech, not a couple other things around that. Not writing bash scripts, that's not their main stack, right? Keep that in mind. That is real tech versus everything else that's in the job descriptions. It's worth keeping that in mind because a lot of time it'll save you a lot of pain, because it'll also help you decide whether to apply for a job. If a tech stack is in requirements section, then maybe you really need it, but keep that in mind. Try to differentiate what's required from what's optional. Sometimes the recruiters and HR guys will mix the both. So it's your job to figure out what's required, what's not. Now, the last point, but not least, is for junior developers who just got in the industry or who are planning to apply for a job, or who are already working for a company. So I think I'm gonna rub people in the wrong way when I say this, but if you're a junior developer or an intern, you are gonna be treated like shit. Maybe you are not treated like, but you'll feel like you're treated like shit, and that is because you're gonna compare yourself to people who have been there for 10 years, or the senior developers who bring much more value to the company. You cannot compare yourself to those people. So if they have asked you as a developer to fill a spreadsheet, do some calculations there, and copy paste some stuff, you have to be accepting. You have to be in a position where you're like, okay, I'll do it, no problem. What you cannot do is just get pissed off and just rage quit or something like that because other developers are doing the real stuff. That is gonna happen no matter the company you go to. Maybe they'll ask you to copy paste some content in WordPress, just change the header, replace the logo because the client can't do that. That's fine too. So you, as a junior, you're gonna be shit on constantly, and people are gonna take credit for your work. People are gonna show off. People have egos, so keep that in mind. A journey as a junior is not the most pleasing, but obviously What you can do when you are there is soak as much knowledge as you can. Anything you can learn from senior people, learn, write it down, because maybe you'll you'll be gone in 3 months after you fail probation. I'm not saying you will, but you can. So soak as much knowledge as you can, do as much as you can. Right? It's not about proving the point, but you as a junior or intern, it's about learning as much as you can from experienced people who have 10 years of experience. They can teach you anything instantly. Something that'll take you a week to learn, they can just plug it into your brain in 2 seconds. So soak all the knowledge you can from other senior people. I think that's my list for now. I'll make another video on maybe more random points, but I think that's it. You can follow me on Twitter as well. I'll put link in the description. Thanks.